Great question. So the question is, if you have a red letter Bible, you know, the Bibles where Jesus' words appear in red, you know, you look at some bits of the gospel, say John's gospel, and you're getting towards the end of it, and there are these very long red sections, and they didn't have a dictaphone. You know, how could John have actually, how can we be sure that he's recording direct speech here by Jesus? I think this raises a really interesting question about culture for us. And again, studies have been done on this, which may be worth pursuing if you're interested in it. For us, it's very hard to imagine people memorizing long pieces of prose. Very hard to imagine. But the culture that the disciples were in, and remember, Jesus was intentionally discipling them for 3 years. And what disciples did was learn by rote and learn oral pieces of oral text, as it were. And there was very much a culture of that happening and that occurring, and not just one or two people doing that. So if you compare that to, you know, how the Hindu Vedas, for example, are transmitted, with it only being the Brahmin caste who are allowed to even hear the Vedas and orally transmit them before they're written down, a very small number of people. Within the New Testament, what you have is a community of an oral tradition. So for us, it seems mind-boggling that people would learn by rote. But even, you know, in the 1950s, I'm constantly surprised by my parents-in-law, the education system that they were educated under, and they can recite all sorts of poetry and Shakespeare, and, you know, I'm hopeless at. So even within our own country, we can see a shift away from that. And it was much more extreme in the ancient world, in that this was very much an integral part of the education system.